Board of Assessors to order at 9 o'clock on Thursday, June 17th, 2021. Let the record show that Mr. Early, Mr. Bergeron, and Mr. Hansberry are all present. Is there a motion to waive the reading of the Board of Assessors meeting minutes from June 3rd, 2021, accept them and place them on file?
So
is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any errors or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Is there a motion to waive the reading of the non-public meeting minutes from the board meeting of Thursday, 2021? Accept them and place them on file.
So
is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any errors or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. There are no communications. Mr. Vincent, do you have anything that you care to report to the board?
Nothing today.
All right. We will move on to new business, and at this time I will recognize Gary Turgis for abatement recommendations.
Good morning, board. The property that I have today is 7 Kipford Way in Nashua. It is it's located in Waterford Place condominium development. It's a detached condo. If you have any questions regarding the recommendation that the city has in front of you?
Questions of Mr. Turgis?
I have a question. Do you know if the condo association pays for the roof and the exterior siding?
Yes, they do.
So does that impact the assessment? Because obviously the owner's not paying for it directly. The association will have funds available. So
right, they had a special assessment that they had to pay for to have the roof repaired, and his house was one of the last ones that was done, and that's where the roof leaks were coming in. And I guess they had a special assessment.
Bergeron?
Did the leaky roof cause any interior damage? Yes.
He had to replace, patch the ceiling where it leaked in and repaint. But there was no damage to where he had to like tear out carpets or anything like that.
Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve the assessment reduction for the property located at 7 Gifted Way from $293,300 to $215,800? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Is that concluded?
That concludes my report.
Thank you. At this time, the board will recognize Mr. Mandel for abatement recommendation.
Yes, I have it today. Good morning, board.
Good morning.
First, they 99 Linwood Street, the city recommends $143,800 to $296,200. It's a colonial style home. Does anyone, yes, if anyone on the board has a question?
Any questions, Mr. Mandel?
and then
Is there a motion to approve the assessment reduction for the property located at 99 Linwood Street from $343,300 to $296,200?
so
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the reduction as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Mandel?
Second property is at 130 Searles Road. The city recommends lowering the assessment from $276,100 to $224,100. Does the board have any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Mandel? No. Is there a motion to approve the assessment reduction for the property located at 130 Searles Road from $276,100 to $224,100?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Mr. Mandel?
The third abatement is for 7 Sanborn Drive. The city recommends lowering the assessment from $309,800 to $290,500. I should add that in considering this, the amount of abatement in this property, the city had to take into consideration other property owned by the taxpayer, which found that was a little under assessed, so that affected the amount of abatement for 2020.
So that's automatic. If somebody owns multiple properties in the city and they put an abatement request for a single property, all additional properties are reviewed.
That's correct.
Any further questions? Mr. Mandel? Is there a motion to approve the assessment reduction for the property located at 7 Sanborn Drive from $309,800 to $290,500?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Mr. Mandel?
Fourth abatement is for 31 Todd Road. The city recommends lowering the assessment from $360,200 to $327,000.
Question.
Here, Ray, one question.
Go right ahead.
This house had a much larger lot than the others that were comped. Is any adjustment for that for lot size?
Yes, adjustments were made for all. For 2 of the comps 2 and 3 were adjusted.
Right. No other questions?
Other questions? The motion to approve the assessment reduction for the property located at 31 Todd Road from $360,200 to $327,000.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Mr. Mandel?
The abatement is for 12 Warden Road. This city recommends lowering the assessment from $286,700 to $274,400.
Any questions for Mr. Mandel?
No questions.
No.
And is Wharton, is that in, where is that located, Mr. Mandel?
It's near Timberline Drive off of Bryant Road.
Okay, so I'm Lancashire Heights, correct? Okay, yeah, that's at 25. I sometimes get Wheaton in the one. Because Wheaton's up by the, whatever, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the assessment reduction for the property located at 12 Wharton Road from $286,700 to $274,400?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Mandel?
6th abatement is for 7 Montgomery Avenue. The city recommends lowering the assessment from $162,000 to $147,200. This is based on strictly data corrections.
Questions for Mr. Mandel?
No questions.
No.
So that's a very established neighborhood. So was there a free lot, an empty lot, something, somebody went in and put in a couple of condominiums? Is that what happened?
I'm not sure. This is a convex.
Yeah, is it just like 2 convexes on the property?
Usually it's 2 families converted.
Right, that makes sense. Is there a motion to approve the assessment reduction for the property located at 7 Montgomery Ave from $162,000 to $147,200?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Mandel?
The next two abatements are both on Sullivan Way. The first one is number 7. The city recommends lowering the assessment from $390,600 to $346,500.
Is there a second?
So moved.
And I'll second.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
All right. I know we're all doing this.
Any discussion? No discussion. On some of your commentary on some of these properties, it sounds like what there's been somebody going around the city approaching property owners and encouraging them to file an abatement. Is that correct?
I believe 7 out of the 8 abatements I'm presenting today, that is correct.
Any further discussion? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the assessment reductions of the property located at 7 Sullivan Way from $390,600 to $346,500? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Mandiel?
The last abatement I'm presenting is on 2 Sullivan Way. The city recommends lowering the assessment from $309,100 to $274,100.
Other questions for Mr. Mandiel? So is there a motion to approve the assessment reduction for the property located at 2 Sullivan Way from $309,100 to $274,100? Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Excuse me. So one might argue that the number of abatement applications would have been lower this year and someone not been going around actively encouraging people to file the abatements.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
So I remember that was a while ago, I had reviewed the numbers and somebody was saying that the numbers were way up. As I remember this year, we were in the middle of the pack looking at the previous, I was at the prior 10 years, but it was the years when there were revaluations because those numbers are usually skewed as the numbers go up. So actually back, I think it's like 12 to 13 years to get a temperature in years. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motions signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Does that conclude your report?
It does, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there any unfinished business to come before the board? All right, we've reached the period of the meeting where there is the opportunity for public comment. I would remind the public that there's a 5-minute limitation per speaker. There's no one in the audience, but there may be people doing this remotely who would like to speak. Director Kleiner, is there anyone who wants to address the board remotely?
Lori Ortolano.
And if you could state your address, please.
Lori Ortolano, 41 Berkeley Street. Couple things. I'm still concerned about Vision's work and how they're handling the sales data for 2020, the vacancy rate in commercial properties and what they're seeing. And I think we are owed a public discussion about that and what's happening with these assessments. Secondly, you seem to infer, Dan, that somebody went around encouraging people to file abatements. That was me, and it wasn't encouraging people to file abatements. It was trying to correct what I viewed as disproportionate assessments, largely driven off the sales data. I stayed focused on that. And I think what this city should start doing is appreciating that we need to get these assessments in line so everyone pays their fair share. And I happen to believe the abatement process is just how to do that. I wished 1,000 people had filed, and my encouragement would be for this year to try and get 1,000 of these things in, because I definitely see that many properties that need to be corrected before Vision hits the recalculate button. So, you know, that's my community service and that's my effort. I want to absolutely land base the assessors for the work that's been done on these abatements. I cannot believe that 10 abatements are presented to you in the middle of June. It just shows me that there is no serious effort by these assessors to address these abatements. There is a residential property, a 1402, that filed early December with my help that has been waiting for a call. And this was always done first come, first serve. This had to be one of the first 3 abatements filed, and they have not received a response. Nothing. That should have been presented in one of the first ones, and it's not here today. I don't understand that. Now, there's probably, I don't know, 60 residential abatements to handle before the end of June, before they go into the deemed denied pile, and maybe the city will act. There is no excuse why these wouldn't be all completed by the end of June. And what it shows me is that Chief Vincent does not give a priority to these. These assessors aren't doing sales reviews anymore. It's been assigned to Vision. These assessors are not having to do permit data. It's been assigned to Vision. I missed the very beginning of the meeting because the link to get on did not work on the website. So I dilly-dallied trying to get connected instead of using the phone. I don't know if Chief Vincent explained why only 10 are being presented and why it's been so slow in bringing these forward. But it just shows me that this assessing office does not does not look at equity as a priority matter when property owners file. And Greg Turgis, as far as his work to carry some of these residential abatements, have we seen any? I don't think I've seen one. I mean, that office needs to be closed down. It just, for the $1 million you put into it, it just doesn't perform. And it is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous what we dump into there and what we get for services, particularly to the public. Your customer service area is all but gone. It's just, I can't believe it. I can't believe that 35 abatements have been presented by June 17th. And there's roughly 100 residential, probably 35 or so commercial, big ones, but there's a fair number. And you got through them when KRT came through. The city did 135, the residential assessors did 135 of the residential abatements and farmed out 50 to KRT. So I don't really see why you can't get through 100 before the deemed denied date. Just obnoxious, really, really disappointing. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other speakers, Director Kleiner?
Laura Cajon.
If you say your address, please.
Laura Cajon at 30 Greenwood Drive. I'd like to also complain about I'm looking at the list. There's 86 residential abatements. 34 have been done. Of the 34, 15 were on one street. Another 5 was on the other. So they've actually hit 14 throughout the city, leaving 52 abatements undone as of June 17th. I think that is pathetic. We just got into a confrontation last night because the finance board is allowing to spend $150,000 to do commercial properties. And of course, it's not going through the assessing budget because we don't want the people, the residents to find out what we're paying in assessing. But if we're paying all this money to Vision and they're doing everything, I'd like to know what the hell our assessors are doing if they're just giving 10 out today. That's ridiculous. And I think everybody in assessing and on the board of assessors should apologize to the citizens of Nashua. It's a sin. It's a disgrace. Thank you.
Director Kleiner, are there other speakers waiting to address the board?
Chair, I'm sorry, there's no other members of the public on the Zoom.
Are there comments by board members? Is there a motion to go into non-public for two reasons. First, to discuss matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement, a waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, parenthetical C. Second, under 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, parenthetical L, for the consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
I will call the roll. Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Bergeron,
Yes.
Mr. Hansberg, yes. Let the record show that the event is non-public session by my watch.
Okay, and I am waiting